Hi, good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome all of you at today's webinar, and we are going to start in just a few minutes. And while we are still waiting for all the participants to join, in the meantime, just feel free to write a short description of who you are, where you're from, and your topic of interest in merchandising. And while we are waiting, I want to mention that in our handouts, you can download the PDF file, like what do you need for a quick layout optimization. Okay, guys.
Yeah, I think like once we are like making some short introduction about us, about our company, people will be still joining. And once we come to the topic, I think that most of the participants who would like to join and to listen to the topic, they will be here on board. So let's start.
Yeah, so guys, good morning one more time. And I want to say that the topic for today's webinar will be how to digitize a layout in 40 minutes. And let me start with an introduction of the hosts. It's me, Mark Rose. I'm the client manager, and Anna Irma. Anna, the head of business development, and has a lot of great experience of working with the retailers. Hey, Anna, one more time.
Hello, Mark. Thank you for the intro.
Yeah, you're welcome, Anna. Let's jump to another slide. And I want to say, like, before jump into solution itself, let's go ahead and let me just start with a brief introduction of Lifio. And we have been working with the retailers for over 11 years. And over this time, we've been focused on creating next generation digital supply chain tools for retail business. And we brought the experience of working with across the different types of retail in automation and optimization. And we've combined all that experience in world-class solutions for inventory optimization, planogram optimization, and trade promotion management. And let me add a few words that Lifier is a platform that automates the different areas of supply chain with the help of AI and machine learning. And the platform consists of 3 modules. The first module is inventory optimization that help us to automate the replenishment process, both at the level of store and DC. And another module is promotion management. It's the solution that intend us to manage all promo activities and forecast sales for the promo period. And our shelf efficiency that covers end-to-end merchandising process, starting from the planogram creation to its execution and analysis. And that's actually the module that will help us to build the digital store today. Can we go? Yeah, thank you, Anna. Yeah, I would say at the company, we have a good experience. We know what we're talking about. And we built our solution based on the experience of customers and based on the demand from the market. And currently we have projects in 16 countries. We implemented more than 160 projects. And at the moment we have around 100 employees at our team. And thank you. And so let's go to our customers. And I want to say that we are working with the different types of retailers, and they're with different verticals. And our background is in grocery retail, health and beauty, convenience stores, and supermarkets. But we also had experience working with the electronics, oil and gas, DIY, and toy retailers. And today we are going to speak about a very important topic for the retail business, or how to digitize a layout in 40 minutes, and what the solution does, and what's the main idea behind it, and how it will help you to automate the process and create your own store. And also, guys, for newcomers that join us recently, I want to mention one more time that we have handouts, and handouts contain the PDF file, and you can download the PDF file and you can see what you will need for a quick layout digitization. That's it from my side. I will pass the word to Anna. So Anna, you can just go ahead and present your part.
Yeah, hello everyone. We are really glad to see you at our webinar. And today, actually, we are going to speak and to see how we can build a digital store just like in 40 minutes We will build it starting from creation of the equipment. After that, with uploading the layout, with making the interactive floor plan, and after that, with filling the planogram. And so we will basically build a convenience store like just in 40 minutes. But before we go to that, I would like to speak a little bit more about why actually we need it and what is the value of creating such digital store. So first of all is when you have this digitized layout, you will understand how much space is allocated for each specific position on the shelf. So you will clearly understand why this specific SKU in this number of facings, because it will be based on the data. And also you will receive analytics on on the sales data, according to the ABCD analysis, that will help you actually to build the planogram and to understand how much space to devote for each SKU on the shelf. And all of this, it will help you to make the merchandising process more efficient, more sales driven, and thus it will bring economic effect in such way. So with this being said, let's go to the process, and we will start with the creation of the equipment, and after that with creation the floor plan. So we are going to the equipment session, and we will create several types of the equipment. We will start from the regular rack. So we are choosing the rack dimensions, the width and the height of the equipment. We can customize it here and make it like in any size we want. We can fill it automatically with shelves. In our case, it's 6. So the system will create it automatically and fill with 6 shelves, like with the same space. And we give the name for it. We recommend giving the name according to the product category and sometimes the size of the equipment. Let's create the next one. We are providing also the width and the height according to our standards, according to our templates. Also fill, in this case, it will have 7 shelves. We are saving it. In this case, it will be the rack for juices. Let's create another one.
So Anna, as I understand, manually, you can manually put those like centimeters or meters for your shelves, and you can create like as like preferable for each specific store for your, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if you know, for example, the dimensions of each our rack, we are creating the equipment here, and we can either fill it like manually at different shelves and set different criteria for each shelf, or we can create it and fill the rack automatically. For example, like we do it with 5 shelves with the same distance between shelves. Yeah, so this is like the first step. We need to create different types of the equipment. And after that, we will be placing this equipment on the floor plan and filling this equipment with different SKUs in different ways. That's also an interesting part. Let's wait for it. But for now, let's do some like routine work with creating the equipment. Equipment can be created like specifically for each product category, for example, like just for juices, after that for coffee, or it can be some like wide equipment that can be created like for the whole rack that occupies part of their floor plan, and after that we can put different categories in this planogram. And now we are creating a few more racks with setting different parameters for each customized rack, so that after that we can place it on the floor plan and work with the planograms. So in this case, it will be like 9 shelves. It will be the shelves for different kind of ready meals, so like a small space between the shelves. one more equipment. This will be a rather wide one for the 2 centimeters and 6 number of shelves. And after that, we are saving that. After saving the equipment, they go to the equipment library. And after that, we can find every equipment in the equipment library, can edit it and add this equipment to the, or like basically on the floor plan, which will be created just like in a couple of minutes. But for now, we need to create like different types of the equipment so that we can use it and place them on the shelf, on the floor plans. So this one will be equipment for the T. And we will create a couple of more equipments.
So there is no limits, like you can create as many as you want, right?
Yeah, sure. And additionally, if there is a possibility if there is a need to create the equipment with equipment slots, we also have here such functionality. If, for example, there are like some specific slots for the shelves, it can be also mentioned and taken into consideration while creating the rack. Now we are creating different type of the equipment. It's the pallet. It's the equipment that is mainly used for different kind of promotional activities. And now we are going to creation of the equipment with the that contains hooks. And it can contain the regular shelf. So we can customize it and make, for example, several rows of the kind of shelves with the hooks and with the regular shelves. Or it can be just like hooks as well. So how we wanted to create. We can set the number of hooks. We can set different dimension for the hook, for each hook. And we can also like customize it, for example, to make it not like for the whole width of the equipment, just for the part of the width, and so on. So here is very flexible in the equipment constructor. So here we created 3 rows of hooks, and now we add here just like regular shelves. Usually such equipment is used near the cashier for different kind of batteries, gums, and so on. And we are giving the name to this type of the equipment. And this one will be used for different kind of self-care for men, like razors and so on. And we are creating some additional racks. This one will be a big one that will be used like near the wall where we can put like different kind of goods. And this one will be used for placing the noodles, a different kind of noodles, and we will place them for the whole equipment, for the whole rack. And now we will create the pigeonhole rack. This one will be used and usually is used for different kind of vegetables and fruits. We fill this rack with the different kind of boxes. So in our case, it's 16 boxes, and it will be filled with different kinds of fruits and vegetables. So basically, it's kind of like a bulk product where don't like put it like SKU by SKU, but they're just said that, okay, here will be fruits and vegetables. And this one is the freezer. It's the type of the equipment for different kind of sausages, frozen fruits, frozen vegetables, ice cream, and so on. So this will be used for the frozen food, like vegetables and fruits. And we are creating one more rack here, fill it with different shelves. By the way, here we can also set the distance from the bottom, the distance from the up space. So if we have all these set parameters somewhere in our documentation. Now let's go to macro spacing. Here is basically where all the main job is done with the equipment, with the floor plan. And now we will create the floor plan of our convenience store. How we will do it? The system creates automatically the square, and we will upload the layout, which is usually done and in AutoCAD. So it's just the picture of the floor plan, and based on this picture, we will create their interactive floor plan and place different kind of equipment on this floor plan. Now we are searching for the equipment so that we can adjust the size of the floor plan to the size of the specific equipment. So we can understand how we should how we should increase or decrease this picture of the floor plan. So that's what we are doing right now. We understand that equipment small, so we should make the picture like much smaller, and after that adjust the floor plan according to the size of this like particular equipment, so that we can place this equipment on the floor plan and after that adjust it to the sizes. We can zoom in and zoom out everything here in our window, and like to make it bigger, we can center it and so on. So it's very convenient here to work with different kind of the floor plans. Actually, they can be built based on their picture from the AutoCAD, or they can be built from scratch directly in the system. So there are different options for that. Right now, of course, it's more convenient to do it based on the picture, when we can understand where we can put some certain equipment, how it basically looks like on the floor plan, why this equipment, it will allow us to see the heat map, because we really think that analytics is a very important part here. So it's, of course, it's better to place it based on the equipment. And now we will work and we will create the borders for this store. So in case if we can switch the picture on or off, so in case if we decide to switch the picture off, we will have the borders of this floor plan, and we will understand like how our floor looks like actually. Even if we switch off the picture of this floor plan. So we are adjusting the borders. Here is very flexible, very convenient to do that. Just like we put the corners on the corner of our floor plan, of the picture of the floor plan. So in our case, we are cutting the walls and just like match it with the borders of the picture of the floor plan. So now basically we created our layout. By the way, there can be different versions of the floor plan. They might have different statuses from published, just for created, and from archived, and so on. And now let's go to the equipment part, and actually we will fill the floor plan with different types of the equipment. So we are placing different equipment in different parts of the floor plan. So that after we place this equipment, we can work actually with the creating of the planogram. We can place this equipment in several ways. So first of all, of course, from the equipment library. So that's the library that we actually created before during the first step of our webinar. We can also clone this equipment. So just place equipment once on the floor plan, and after that we can clone this equipment like we did it with the freezer. We are placing juices. So it's very convenient to have this picture so that we can understand, okay, here we have different types of the equipment, and here we are placing juices, here we place coffee. Additionally, there is a possibility in the system to create different zones on the floor plan, so that we can understand that, okay, in this zone we will have the alcohol, in this zone we will have the fresh fruits and vegetables, in this zone we will have coffee and tea, here will be the cooler with the drinks, and so on. But basically it can be done like that. If we see that in our AutoCAD plan where we have different types of the equipment, we can do that without the zones, just like on placing the equipment. And we can make the turn of the equipment to different angles and in different way. So we are placing and matching the pictures of the floor plan with our equipment that we created before, different types of the equipment, with regular racks, with freezer, with racks with the hooks, and so on. And we are adjusting it to the floor plan by turning equipment and put equipment like in their like space, in their places. So right here we will do with the self-care products for men that we did the equipment with the hooks. And there we will also place the equipment with the hair care for like basically for the mostly for the women, and so that everything can be in like in one place regarding the self-care product. Just like that, we just drag and drop our ready equipment that we created in the like as the first step. Before that, we save this equipment in the library, and after that we are placing this equipment on the floor plan, as the next step we will be able to work with this equipment to create the planogram, to publish the planogram, and to work with this like cycle merchandising process. We are cloning right now, for example, the equipment, so it's very convenient, like not to look for it one more time. If this is a standard equipment, like, and there are like 4 types of this equipment on the floor plan, we can just like clone it, and after that we will be working with the planogram, which will be like unique for each type of the equipment.
In the meantime, I'm sorry for interrupting. Yeah. In the meantime, guys, if you have like any questions, you can just type them in our chat, and Anna and will be willing to answer them. So yeah, go ahead.
Sure. Additionally, if we see, for example, like we did with this noodles equipment, if we see that if there is any kind of the mistake that we made in creation of the equipment, we will see it in the floor plan. We can drill down directly to their equipment constructor and can make some changes, and after that go back to their floor plan. So to understand that, okay, we adjusted this equipment and right now it looks fine and it matches our actual sizes on the floor plan. It's just like a kind of validation of the equipment according to their floor plan size. But of course, it's better if we know the exact sizes of the equipment, and if we create the equipment based on these like exact sizes of the equipment to avoid different inconveniences for the store manager who will be working with the planograms, like with the planograms when they have the planograms, and they will be making the actual layout according to this planogram. But just in case, there is also a possibility to adjust it right from the floor plan. That's what we are doing it right now. Yeah, so what we did with actually the pet food, we understand that this equipment is rather big, so we need to adjust it and make it smaller so that it can fit our floor plan here. Now actually we created most of the floor plan, and we will work with filling of the planogram. We'll start with the cooler for the Pepsi drinks, and additionally there is a possibility in the system to kind of customize this cooler for the Pepsi. For example, that we can show how it looks to our vendor, so that they say us, okay, the planogram should look like that, there should be the following products. We say them, okay, we place these products on their shelves, and we also like kind of customize this cooler, and it will look approximately like that. So this is the help of different like labels in the system. We can download different kind of pictures. Also, it can be applicable and useful for different kind of promo layouts, some branded racks, and so on. And it's very convenient to work with that, so that we will all have the product covers, and we will have the idea how this cooler will look like in real life. Now we are filling this equipment from the Excel file. So we have information in the Excel file about the layout, about the products in this rack, and how many faces for each kind of product. So just like that, we created the Pepsi drink, Pepsi cooler. And there are different ways how the planogram can be created. Right now, we will watch the very interesting way. It's the auto planogram generator. When we set different parameters based on which the system will create the planogram automatically. So we are choosing the product category. We are choosing how to make the sorting. In our case, it will be based on the price. We choose what kind of filter to apply to this product, how to make the auto facing for which time of period. And after that, we just upload it to the sector and the system will create the planogram automatically. And we can just save it and go to the next step. So it's very convenient to work in case if there are some minor changes are needed to be done. It's also possible we can do some changes after the system created the planogram automatically. In case if we have information in the Excel files about either ideally about what SKUs should be in this equipment, in what number of facings, in depth, in width, and in height, we can upload this information from the Excel file, and the system will fill the shelves automatically based on the information on the Excel. And additionally, the other way, if we understand that, for example, there are some certain SKUs that should be present in the planogram, we can copy their article numbers, their SKU numbers, upload them and load to the basket. In this case, they will be placed in the basket. You can see it in the right corner here. And after that, just one by one, we can make the filtering, by the way, in this basket to filter and prioritize that in different ways. And after that, we can just fill the hooks, for example, in our case, with different kind of products. So we can hand them, we can choose the place for them, we can choose the number of facings, and so on. And that's how we recommend to work with the planogram. So sometimes it's convenient to have it to make just manual drag and drop. Sometimes it's convenient to upload it from the Excel file, for example, when there is some promotional activity and we understand that, okay, these SKUs are taking part in the promo, and we can just upload them from the Excel and after that place them in the basket. And drag and drop it from the basket, just fill in the shelf with this kind of product, the shelf or the pallet or whatever like we want to fill with this kind of product. And now we are we are hanging the man razors here on the shelves, on the hooks actually. And we understand that here we fill there two bottom shelves with different kind of man care products, and on the top of that we hang just like the razor, so the man can walk to the shelf to this equipment and see everything he needs for actually everything he needs for his care. And just the last one. And after that, we either save or publish the planogram. And let's go back to the floor plan and work with the next equipment that we have here. We just drilling down from the floor plan to the planogram creation. And here we choose the SKUs from the equipment basket, from the Excel file, and put it in the equipment basket. And after that, the system will understand it and actually know, according to our Excel file, where each product on the shelf can be is situated. And we'll fill the planogram with these products on the shelf. Usually it is used when the customers have either a rather mature way, but still manual way of creating the planograms, but it is in Excel files, but still they know how many facings for each SKU, what is the number of shelf, and so on. Or in the case when they use different kind of competitor products, competitor solutions, and they can just upload this information from the competitor solution and use it as a base for creating the planograms in our system. Or as I mentioned, in the case with the promo product, when we know the SKUs for the promo, and they can be also used like that. So we created their equipment with the pet food. And now we will work on the equipment with the noodles. So we are drilling down to this equipment and fill this equipment also from the Excel, with having information about each SKU on the shelf, about the number of facings and so on. So it's very convenient to work with that, and it just like takes a couple of minutes to create one planogram, and the system will understand what SKUs are what and in what facings they should be on the shelf. So we created their equipment with noodles. It's rather a long one equipment. As I mentioned, as an example, it can be created just like one equipment, not each shelf, not each rack like separately. So in case if we have like one layout and one planogram with basically one category, because when it's like different categories, it's better to create different types of the equipment. And now we will work with the equipment of creating different ready meals, like cornflakes and some breakfast and so on. We also upload them. And by the way, in our system, you can see that there is SKUs that they have, and there is a possibility to have the SKUs with the product cover. And of course, it's all adjusted to the equipment space, to the size of the shelf, and the size of the shelf in depth, the size of the shelf in width, and so on. Now we are working with the palette. Here we will have two types of the water. Usually it's some promo products or some products in packages, like for example, water in our case. So we understand that we have here two SKUs, two types of the water. We are choosing like in what way to put them, in what number of facings, so that it can be adjusted to the size of the palette. And the store manager or merchandiser will understand how to work with this with the layout based on this planogram. So we are increasing the number of facings, and we are adjusting it to the pallet size. And the second type of the water, we are also adjusting it and put it into two rows here, and fill the pallet with two type of the water. And of course, it's very important to save it, and there is a possibility either to save it or to publish. When it is published, the store manager, he will receive the task to renew the layout. If it's saved, it's just like for the central office. So the next one that we are working with is we are working with the equipment with the for vegetables and fruits. We are also understanding what SKUs this equipment contains. And in our case, as it's like a bulk product, we don't need to understand the number of facings, but we can just like put the pictures here so that the merchandiser or the store manager, he can clearly understand that, okay, here should be tomatoes, here should be peppers, here should be peaches, and so on. So it's also very visual, very convenient, and clearly understandable for the store manager. And this actually helps companies to have a standardized layout in all of their stores. So not to put this decision to the store manager, but to make it like centralized, to make it based in the headquarters, so that it can be implemented at the level of stores and be the same for the customer. So he can recognize it. If he walked in one store, he can see the similar picture when he walks to another store. So let's work on the next one. Here we will be working with the T. We also fill it with the help from the Excel. Just matching the columns here and sending it to the equipment. And the system will create it and make it automatically with the filling with the coffee. Let's get back to the floor plan. And yeah, right now. And now we will work with the freezers. For our convenience, we have these 4 freezers together, and it's more convenient to merge them and to see them like merged on with the one screen for the frozen food, and so that we can understand that, okay, here we have this type of the frozen food, here this type, and it's more convenient to work with them like the one planogram. But still, it can be either the one planogram or it can be 4 separated planograms, but you can watch them in one screen and work with them in one screen. So we are uploading these SKUs to the basket, and after that we can work with their creation of their planogram, of the visual part, on just placing this frozen food on in the freezer, and choosing the number of facings for this like frozen food. Yeah, just like that, and soon we will have the pictures that will appear and show us what SKUs, like how these SKUs they look here in there. By the way, we can choose the different settings here. If we, for example, don't want these SKUs to be if we want to be sure that these SKUs will fit this shelf size, we can choose the parameter in equipment, and the system will not let us make it more than the size of the equipment. This is kind of a parameter that helps to validate if we are making the planograms correctly. So the validation can be done by either this feature or with the help of different analytics, with the help of different filters, and so on. And let's work on their other freezers. We upload in different kinds of frozen food, frozen vegetables, choosing the place for them, so how our customer will see that in the store and how the merchandise actually should make the layout for that. And for example, we are like just placing different frozen food in different parts of the freezer, and we are choosing the place for that, and after that we can work with the number of facings, for example, and choose the number of facings for each SKU here to understand how the planogram, how the layout will look like for our customer. What kind of products he will see, what else will be closer to his hands, what will be like more in remote area, and so on. And we can choose here the number of facings as well.
It's so convenient that you can visualize all those products SKUs in your fridge.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, like a picture seems to be not so important part. More, of course, like the dimensions make sense, but still it will help to understand how the planogram will look like. Not okay, it's not a real life. Of course, it's better to go to the store and see it in the store, but still it can give us the idea how the planogram or it will look like on the either on the rack or in the freezer or in the cooler. So yeah, it's very convenient, because sometimes we know that some of our customers, they create some flagship example in flagship store of the planogram for different categories. They actually go to their shelf, they fill it with different products, they play with it like in real life with real products, and after that they make the picture and send it to their store managers or send it to the store so that they can make the layout. But also one of the disadvantages for that is that their their category managers in the central office, they don't have any kind of tool to control the actual layout, because usually they are too busy with creating the planogram, with making some adjustments to the planogram, and when these processes are manual, it makes it longer, it makes it less convenient and gives less space for making the control and actually for managing these planograms, and for making this process transparent for every participant of this process. But in this way, we can clearly see what SKUs we have, and we can control how our merchandiser or store manager did the layout. We can send him the task, we can renew the planogram, republish it, and our store manager or merchandiser should give the approval that, okay, this planogram this layout was changed, and actually physically in the store. and we are saving this planogram. And now let's get back to the floor plan. And work with we have just a couple of other equipment. So we almost filled all of the store. Yeah, it's a small store, but still it just took like something like 40 minutes. Of course, like we experience, we know how to use it. We do it very quickly. But in any case, our team, it educates the customer how to do that. There is a session, education sessions during the implementation process. So their employees on the customer side, they will clearly know how to work with this planogram, how to work with solution functionality. So they don't need to read different kind of boring manuals and so on. They will have a live education, live online sessions and educations. And right now we are filling the low alcohol rack with different kind of products. So it's like we almost filled all of the store, convenience store with all the goods, and it just took like something like 35 minutes. Yeah, and we can see it clearly, and it looks very good, looks very beautiful here.
Nice one.
Yeah, and moreover, it's not just about the visual part, but it's we are not covering it during this webinar, but we have the other webinars where we cover the economic part of this digitalized planograms, because we think that it is like the key to the success to make the planogram based on the numbers. And when you have this digital way of creating the planograms, of like making and accepting different assortment rotations, you have a very good tool to manage that, to make the quick changes and to understand why this certain SKU occupies this shelf and why it occupies this shelf in this number of basins. And now we are creating the last piece. This rack will have the juices. So we are placing here the juices, and we fill this equipment with the juices. Yeah, so now we have here the juices and the shelf, and just like that we created all of the floor plan filled with different equipment and different planograms, like just and took us like something like 35 minutes if I'm not mistaken. This is it. Let's summarize what we did during today's session. Is we created the digital floor plan just in 40 minutes, starting from creation of the customized equipment that should be placed in the store. The next step was creating the layout, the floor plan based on the picture, and after that, based on this layout, we made it in an interactive floor plan by placing different equipment on this floor plan. And after that, we drill down to each planogram, and we have worked with each planogram by filling this planogram in different ways. This is it. If it's interesting for you to know more details about this process, please feel free to contact us. Maybe there are any questions.
Yeah, I have a few questions. First, I want to say thank you for the beautiful introduction of this solution. And it was really amazing. You made it like for 40 minutes exactly. And the first question that I want to ask is like, can this solution be used for other verticals in retail, like pharma, DIY, and how can you visualize that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. So right now we show the grocery. It's like a typical store and convenience store, and we have a lot of clients in grocery. But basically, it can be used for any kind of the retailer that has the store, that has the layout, and has a need to work with their planograms, to standardize their planograms for the whole retail chain. And what I didn't mention is additionally we have different kind of different functionality that help the retailer to scale, to do it like not each store by hands, but to apply some kind of scaling functions as well.
I got it, thank you. And another question that showed up is like, in case that you're creating like multiple planograms for multiple stores, should be that planogram created for each store separately, or you can do like some formats or templates?
Yes, of course, of course. So it makes sense to make it like one by one in case if it's like very small customer with a couple of stores, and all of the stores, they are unique. Then yeah, it makes sense to make them separately, store by store. But if it's a big retail chain and we are working with retail chains of 600, 700 stores, of course it's very hard and very tough to work with each store specifically. And in this case, we have different tools for automation, different tools for the group management, for the scaling and so on, when we can create either the format equipment, or we can just like copy one equipment from each store, or we can place one format equipment like in 5 stores, in 50 stores, and so on. So we can work with different kind of formats. So yeah, there are a lot of tools and a lot of functionality that will help to scale and to work with the big size retailers.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, you also mentioned that the solution is cloud-based, and I want to ask you, like, how does the tool get the data?
So basically, we get the data from the exchange with the ERP system of the customer. So this exchange is it's like a data exchange on the regular basis, and it's very important to get the data not only regarding the dimensions of the product, but as I mentioned, we make a big emphasis on the sales, so that the planogram can be like data driven, can be based on the real data, and can be based on the sales of each specific store. So this is what kind of data we usually receive from the ERP system of the customer to our system, and it helps our customers to work and to create this economically efficient planograms.
Okay, I got it, Anna. Yeah, thank you. So far I do not have like any question regarding the solution itself, so it was really nice presentation from your side. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for introduction. Thank you for helping me with this webinar. Please feel free to contact us for any details, and we are going to have some more webinars in future regarding the KPIs in their inventory management, regarding managing the alcohol markets, their liquor stores. So stay tuned, visit our website and contact us for any kind of the details.
Okay, thank you guys. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good day, everyone.